Okay, Ashley Westwood, giant killers, that's what we are calling them. Not exactly spectacular football, but Sweden got the job done.
Certainly did. You know, we knew how they were going to set up. They were going to be a tight, compact 4-4-2. Emphasis on team performance rather than individual quality. You know, ticking all the boxes physically with their effort and their energy. And hard to break down. They did that, they got a goal, and once they got a goal they were always going to defend for their lives and be even more hard to break down. And you have to take your hats off to them. You know, possession was way down, but at the end of the day it means nothing. It's the goals that count and clean sheets, and they are starting to keep a lot of clean sheets and are becoming a real hard team to score against.
Yes, and they've replicated the template what we saw even in qualifying when they edged they came second in a group which also had Netherlands, which sent the Netherlands out. Then they went and beat Italy. They almost took Germany all the way. That last-minute Toni Kroos free kick, beat Mexico when they had to win that match. And this is a remarkable, remarkable run. One of the great World Cup stories, Eugene.
Yeah, it's been impressive indeed. Like you said, it's the first time that they've all played in a World Cup. And coach has already mentioned it, that they're a very well-drilled team, very well-organized, and they do tend to frustrate teams. I mean, the moment they score, they would sit back, be compact, tight, and not allow team to score or not allow team to have shots at them. So they have been a very compact team. Yes,
but perhaps I'm not correct in criticizing them, Ashley. But we are at the World Cup. We are at the round of 16 stage. You've seen some great football last night. Belgium coming from behind to beat Japan, and then you see this performance. You know, this is result oriented. This is the way they play. But fans tend to get a bit disappointed when they see matches like this.
I'm not sure if they will. You know, if you speak to Swedish fans, they'll probably take this as a bonus. You have to play to your strengths. You know, there's no point trying to do something you can't do. At the end of the day, a coach's job is to find the right formula to do what it takes to win games, and that's what they're doing. Now they're getting further. You know, they may try and do something a little bit different. I doubt it, because this has to be their formula to get to the World Cup. You know, we see Portugal do it in the Euros. They won the European Championships by playing similar to this. Obviously, they had Ronaldo. I think he missed the final, thinking back. But this is what they have to do. If they bore teams to death and they win a World Cup, nobody will care who comes from Sweden. At the end of the day, it'll say Sweden have won the World Cup and no one else. But you have to obviously fear for them. You surely can't win a World Cup playing like this. They haven't got the players to do it. They can't score enough goals, and they don't excite anyone. I'll be amazed if they win a World Cup, but there's a possibility because they're in the hat.
Yes, because if they go on and win the World Cup, you guys will have a lot to talk about, especially come the 15th of July. But you know, Switzerland knew what was coming at them. We knew what was coming. We knew Sweden are going to sit back. Switzerland had their chances. They had the better possession. 63 to 37, 600 odd passes to 270, but they could not break them down. Show us, what did they do wrong? You think that they got this one tactically completely wrong?
I think they did. I think they played completely into the Swedish's hands. We know straight away that Sweden were going to be the 4-4-2. We know that Switzerland were going to be the 4-2-3-1. And this is how it kind of, you know, looks. You know, Sweden never want to break this if they don't want. The fullbacks never get forward, if you like, so they're a nice compact two banks of four. And as it develops, as Switzerland were trying to play out from the back all the time, this was happening all the time for me. The ball was coming into the central defenders, and the first objective is you have to break the first line of defence. And the first line of defence for Sweden was a retreating two centre forwards, if you like, that would take up this role. And what Sweden did, they dropped, Switzerland, they would drop one player into the back two, if you like, that became a three. And they were playing the ball around. That's why they got so much possession. So the ball was being around it, and they still hadn't broke this first line of defence. So straight away, just simplifying, looking at that, there's 10 Swedish players and there's 7 Switzerland players. So they're already outnumbered by 3 players. Eventually, if they did break the first line of defence, it was only a little ball maybe into Xhaka. Xhaka would get the ball then, and then straight away they've got 8 players against 6 of the Switzerland players. So there was always outnumbered. These two midfielders, for me, had to get forward. You know, they've got to get up the pitch in this kind of way, and first and foremost, leave the ball to the defenders, break the first line of defence, and then straight away you've got even numbers. You've got an 8v8, and that gives you a little bit of chance. But it was too slow, too patient, and it was just a retreating two banks of four Swedish side with the 2 strikers dropping off. And Switzerland did the same thing time and time again. They relied too much on Shaqiri on the right hand side, who just kept coming in on his left foot, whipping cross after cross, and they had nobody in the box that could threaten it.
And they didn't perhaps look at the result from the Spain game, where they kept passing the way and couldn't get the result. But Eugene, looking at this, what happens now is that Sweden into the quarters, England and Colombia are up next, and they're going to face Sweden. When they look at Sweden, do they think, hang on, do we have to go through this again, or do they look at the positive thinking? A path to the semis has opened up.
I would say I wouldn't think they would do that, because Sweden are a very tough team to break down. So they would be thinking of ways of how they can spread the Swedish backline or Swedish midfield, the 2 blocks of 4, and find a way to get through them. It's not going to be so easy for the teams that are going to face Sweden.